to at Gallipoli. Dad broke the mould, venturing as far as Kingston, Jamaica while on national service. But he was so terrified by the flora and fauna, he vowed never to leave the shores of Britannia again. "The crabs, Susan! The crabs! They were the size of landmines!" he'd recall hysterically, as if the crustaceans would prove the more dangerous factor in that equation. Mum was a little more intrepid. She'd travelled to Ibiza in her mid-20s, but pronounced it not Spanish enough, and returned a week later disappointed. Mum had never been to Spain before, so I'd be interested to know what she was comparing it with. Our parents didn't do foreign and hated sleeping in strange beds, so we tended to holiday places where you could arrive and return on the same day. These trips were planned with military precision, like Navy SEALs, and felt more like tactical strikes than mini-breaks. Occasionally we visited my grandparents in their 117th floor flat in Torremolinos. Well, it must have been just Spanish enough for my mum, because we went twice. We'd get sunburned, drink Fanta, ride on a poor beleaguered donkey in Mijas, then fly home. When I was 14, I went to Jersey with the Children's Youth Theatre and got fingered on a ferry by a boy named Michael. At 18, I went to the east coast of America, got mugged, and came straight home again. At 21, I went on a week's trip to Madeira and drank vodka in an underwhelming villa with sea views so distant they stretched the very bounds of trade description. See, I told you. Not adventurous. I'd never been one for leaving the comforts of home. That person wasn't me. I didn't spend my formative years youth hosteling round Rwanda or climbing Everest in a tie-dye playsuit to raise awareness of something or other. After all, why visit the Bora Bora crater when you can stay right where you are and enjoy Netflix and salt and vinegar crisps? As an adult, the obsessive dynamics of self-employment meant it was impossible for me to take a break. What would happen if I disappeared for a week or two? I'd be forgotten. Forever. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity would doubtless present itself, and I would miss the chance to seize it. That 6-part series on crumping? Britain's best kettles? Eamon Holmes under the hammer? I'd never get those jobs if I went away. No. Best stay here, alert and primed at home in London, and wait. And then something wonderful happened. Work itself afforded me the chance to go away. Finally, I got to leave my desk with a clear conscience. In 2013, I was asked if I'd like to make a documentary about the Mekong River, following it for over 4,000 kilometres from Vietnam all the way to the snowy peaks of Tibet. It had been a dark, difficult year. Poor Dad had been sick with throat cancer, and our days were spent bombing up and down the A30, taking him to and from his daily radiotherapy sessions. He was now in remission, but the treatment seemed not only to have shrunk his tumour, but his horizons. Now he barely left the house, content only to explore the already explored, the safe, the pre-experienced, the familiar poles of armchair, bed and dining table. Occasionally his swollen legs would carry him as far as the biscuit tin and back. That would be a good day. I agreed to the trip. Perhaps deep down I felt I would be travelling for him, and for Mum too, who has an adventurous heart but a carer's role, glued to her partner through times of late more thin than thick, and certainly more in sickness than in health. There was another reason. I have a voice inside me, a voice that drives me to darkness. It dims the lights, it drains the colour, it turns the sound down. It calls me in when I want to be out. It tells me to expect the worst rather than hope for the best. To travel is to quieten that voice, to know that it cannot and will not control me. I take after my dad. He feels too much and cannot cope. I take after my mum, constantly fretful in times of safety but stoic in a crisis. We're all contradictory souls at heart, a mix of intrepid and afraid, outgoing and solitary. The measure of your sanity, I guess, is where you draw the line between those poles. Perhaps this adventure would give me the chance for some much-needed recalibration. So, even though I was frightened, I said yes. I will always say yes. I will throw myself into every experience. I will accept every dare. I will agree to maddening offers and crazy adventures. Yes.